calling all lovers of mystery and fans of a good story. If you haven't already heard me talk about June's Journey, you're in for a treat. It's time to don your detective hat in this free hidden object mobile game that delves into the captivating journey of June Parker, a self-proclaimed detective on a quest to unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's untimely death. In June's Journey, you get to play as June, deciphering clues and unveiling secret plots within thousands of beautifully illustrated scenes. And did I mention it's set in the glitzy 1920s? New chapters are added weekly, so you will never run out of new thrills to uncover, and you can also personalize and decorate your very own Orchid Island where the story takes place. How sharp are your detective skills? Find out when you download June's Journey on your Android or iOS device, or play online via Facebook Games. Your detective journey awaits.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.
Hi, it's Bo Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks.
Hey guys, it's Brittany Palmer, the UFC Octagon Girl.
Hey, this is Trevor Hurst of Econoline Crush.
Hi, it's Bob Lenarduzzi of the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Hi, this is Theodis Crane from AMC's The Walking Dead and WGN's Underground.
Hi, this is George Thorogood.
Hi, I'm Jackie Childs, social influencer.
Hi, I'm William B. Davis, the cigarette-smoking man from the X-Files.
Hey, this is Vinnie Paul from Hell Yeah! And you're listening to the Toddcast right there in Vancouver.
Is there something you've wanted to do for yourself? Not necessarily a New Year's resolution, more like I want to do this for me. But for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. You haven't had the chance to make it happen, the time that's needed. Personally, I'm hoping to shed some weight here. I'm 225 pounds, but I was like $180 soaking wet in high school. Granted, we're talking decades ago. Was 200 pounds for a good 10 years or so, but at almost 50 now, I'm 47. It's more like keeping active just to maintain, let alone lose pounds. So, making her third appearance on the Toddcast this week is fitness influencer Jessica Kiernan. You can follow her at Jessica Kiernan on Instagram, Jessica_Kiernan on Twitter. She talks about the importance of water in our chat, self-discipline, fitness, nutrition, and a lot more. Joining Jessica is the host of the wildly popular This is VANCOLOUR podcast, Mo Amir, making waves on multiple platforms in Vancouver, the podcast. You can hear him on the mighty CKNW. He's a writer for the Vancouver is Awesome. He apparently doesn't like free time. Good dude, and pumps my tires pretty good as well, so he's welcome anytime. We'll get to this week's musical guest in just a minute. Listen to this is coming up as well, and this is a good one. World traveler Henrik Jeppesen talking about his favorite place on Earth, and this guy would know. He's been to every country on the globe by 19 years old. Imagine that. It's powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, RV service and repair, ICBC accredited. You can find them online at tedcorvsuppliesinc.com. First, our first guest of three, this week's musical guest, the Pretty Reckless singer Taylor Momsen. That is brought to you by Pineapple Sound, a recording and mixing studio in Langley since 2013. They also welcome podcasts, voiceover actors, and a lot more. Check them out through pineapplesound.com. Yes, you will know the Pretty Reckless' singer Taylor Momsen from The Grinch with Jim Carrey. She was little Cindy Lou Who. You will know her from Gossip Girl. She played Jenny. But that is not the reason she's a guest this week. It is all about the music. Taylor's band has been around since 2009. They formed in New York City. They released their debut in August 2010 and have been literally head down grinding ever since. They have had multiple top songs on US and UK rock charts, massive world tours. Their latest album, their fourth, called Death by Rock and Roll, was just released last month on February 12th. You can hear the full conversation right now at our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube accounts. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. In the meantime, here's 10 minutes with the Pretty Reckless singer, Taylor Momsen.
The Toddcast Podcast.
What's the music in the Momsen house like as a kid growing up? What are your bands, the parents playing? What are the bands, the artists?
Is awesome.
I grew up in a household where my father is a massive rock and roll fan. Like if you walk into my parents' house, it essentially looks like a rock and roll museum of paraphernalia. So I grew up not being able to get away from rock and roll, even if I wanted to, but luckily I didn't. I fell in love with it. The first band I ever heard was the Beatles, and that's really where I fell in love with music. Like it's, they're the first band I fell in love with, the first band I ever heard. They're the reason I started writing songs in the first place. So that's really where it all kind of stemmed for me. Was the Beatles, but then also, it was my dad's vinyl collection. So it was the Beatles and The Who and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Bob Dylan and Neil Young and Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix. And the list just goes on and on. So it was, I grew up in a household that was very, very fortunate that I got a really, really, the best musical education from, the day I came home from the hospital and when I was born.
Yeah. Sounds like a good dose of all the core bands that you need to know,
Exactly. And once you go great, where are you going to go from there? So like when I got a little older, I kind of discovered some of the 90s stuff on my own. And that's where it kind of expanded a little bit. Like I got really into Nirvana and Pearl Jam and, all of those Seattle bands. But really when I heard Soundgarden, that changed my life. Like it was like hearing the Beatles again for the first time, where it was just this pinnacle moment where my head went back and I went, what did I just listen to? Like, this is incredible. There's so many layers. Like
the direct correlations, the ties, the parallels between, I've had this conversation with many people about the Beatles and Soundgarden. Like Soundgarden was present day Beatles.
Oh yeah. No, like to me, desert island bands, like the Beatles, Soundgarden, I'm good. And then like everything in between, like I would miss, but like it's, if I had to pick two, like that's really what I think formed it was a huge part of my musical formation, I guess.
Right. So how did you stumble onto getting Matt and Kim to play on the album?
Well, we, it kind of stems from a, kind of a sad story, but, we were opening for Soundgarden on that last tour, which was incredible. I mean, it was the highest of highs. Like I couldn't believe that we were there, like opening for Soundgarden. Like it blew my mind. It was absolutely the most amazing experience. And then, and so I became friends with them on that tour. And, it obviously ended very tragically, which, with the passing of Chris that took everyone by surprise, but that really crushed me in a way that I still don't know how to put into words. And it kind of took me down this rabbit hole of, depression and substance abuse and everything that comes with loss. And, and because shortly after we lost Chris, we also we went through a lot of hits in the Pretty Reckless world. Shortly after the music world lost Chris, I found myself not in a good place to be public. Like I came to that conclusion fairly quickly of like, I can't get on stage every night and pretend that I'm okay when I'm kind of falling apart inside. And so I canceled touring and went home to kind of regroup and process. And as soon as I kind of started to get my feet back on the ground, I got a phone call that our producer Kato had died in a motorcycle accident. And that was just the nail in the coffin for me, where I just spiraled down like very quickly into, this hole of darkness that I didn't really know how to get out of. And sorry, I'm kind of rambling now, but to make a very long story, there's no way to not talk about these things while speaking about the album, because it's such a part of it. And so to make a very long story short, it was music was the thing that I turned to that really kind of pulled me out of this funk. When I finally picked up a guitar again and started to write, I feel like this record's different in a lot of ways, in the sense that I didn't really have to try to write it. It just kind of poured out of me, whether I wanted it to or not. It was like all these emotions and all these things that I had been feeling, but like repressing for, months on end. As soon as I kind of, cracked that door open, it was like a dam exploding, and it just all overflowed. And that in itself was very cathartic. Like that was kind of the first step of me, healing and getting my life back on track, I guess. And so anyway, to get back to Matt and Kim, I wrote the song Only Love Can Save Me Now. And just I love that song, and just due to the, you know, the kind of overall vibe of it, I thought that, you know, Matt and Kim's just incredible, masterful musicianship, they would add such a weight and a quality to it that would really take the song to the next level and really see it through to its full potential. So I sent them a demo of it and said, would you guys want to play on this? Like, I think that this could be really awesome. And they listened and said, yeah. And the experience was fantastic. I mean, we actually recorded, it was one of the last songs we recorded for the record. We did it in Seattle at the legendary London Bridge Studios, which is, you know, where Soundgarden made Louder Than Love, and Pearl Jam made 10, and Alice in Chains made Dirt, and
yes.
You know, so many other records. So to be there, like, and I'm a firm believer that like spaces are kind of like people, they hold memories and energy, and, you know, inside the walls. And so just walking in there, and it was incredible. You could feel it, you know, and then to be there with Matt and Kim and have Kim walk around and point to everything on the wall and have a story about it was just absolutely amazing. And then to get to the actual recording of it, to hear that song come to life for the first time in a real way, like the first time Matt hits his snare and the first note that Kim plays, it just exploded out of the speakers of pure and utter awesomeness that only they can deliver. And it just
literally
absolutely incredible.
Can you see this? My hair.
No, I know. I still get goosebumps. It was
standing up right now. Like freaking Soundgarden is helping you with a song. Like,
it's absolutely insane. And like, I don't want to speak for them because that's not my place, but I love them. I love them so much. Like there's not just as musicians, which is like, obviously I don't have to say that, but as people, like they're so incredibly kind. Like they're everything you want them to be and more. Like it's, you know, you always hear don't meet your idols because, you know, they can go south really quickly. And like there's so much, I don't have words. I love you guys, Matt, Kim, Ben. I love you guys. And it just, I'm so grateful that they were a part of this. And it was just this very full circle moment, like after all this hell, like to be there together, creating something new. I felt like it was this very beautiful moment, and really just shows kind of the healing power of music. And I don't know, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
That's such a cool thing to have, especially being such a big fan of the band, right? Like that's something that's going to be with you.
Mind blowing, like that. Yeah. That's an experience I will never, ever forget, and I will forever cherish. And, you know, maybe I don't even know I don't know how to continue to talk about it.
That's pretty
so
cool.
Awesome. You gotta listen to it. It's so awesome.
What was your first concert? What show did you see first?
First concert. Well, my dad took me to a lot of shows. I was born in St. Louis. And so my dad took me to a lot of shows. There's a club there. It's actually Chuck Berry's club called Blueberry Hill. And so I saw a lot of like local bands and things when I was like a baby. He would like sneak me in. So I wasn't actually, it's a bar. I wasn't actually supposed to be there. But the first like real rock show I saw was the White Stripes. And I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, something like that. And it was awesome. First of all, I love Jack White. The White Stripes are amazing. And I was just flabbergasted by the fact that 2 people could make that much noise. Like that was a very pinnacle moment in my life where I went, like, I already knew I loved rock and roll. I'd already started writing songs. I was already playing guitar and piano and stuff, but like I had never experienced that kind of power from a live show before. And it just, the whole thing, my head went back and I want to do that for a living. Like that's,
I'll take some of that.
I'll take that job.
Yeah. And that reminds me of, did you ever get into Royal Blood? Speaking of two people that, that's what they're making. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a little bit of Royal Blood. I'm honestly like, I know I sound stupid when I say this, but I don't really listen to a lot of new music. So I kind of hear it in passing, you know, flicking the radio and stuff. But
I don't know if that's stupid. I think it's probably more just like a general statement of most people. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of naive. Like, I don't even know how you discover new music now. Like, I also treat music, like music is really precious to me. Like I treat it like I want to treat my body. Like music to me is, you know, it's soul food. It's your mind food. So I want to feed myself only the best of that. And so I kind of just tend to stick to the greats, you know, they're called greats for a reason. Like you can't go wrong there. And then you're never going to dumb down your brain in any way.
Musical guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Pineapple Sound, providing recording and mixing services for a wide range of artists and genres since 2013. Check them out at pineapplesound.com.
Restless heart, don't fall apart. You've been hanging by a thread, woven seams in your head. It's a long time coming, baby, and I see you running, maybe. It's a long time coming, baby boy, baby boy. You're innocent, and I know that you've been hanging by a thread on the things that I've said. It's a long time coming, baby, and I see you running, maybe. It's a long time coming, baby boy, baby boy. We must begin to grow from within, to build up from the start, or we'll all fall apart. It's a long time coming, baby boy, baby boy. Ba, 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 ba. Life tells the story, we must believe, we must believe, baby boy.
Now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
If you've ever wanted to travel the world, you should follow a guy named Henrik Jeppesen on social media and get inspired to take the plunge. By the time he was 21 years old, he'd been to all of the countries in the world. And when Henrik was a guest of the podcast, we talked about whether he'd felt like his life was ever in danger while traveling. He shared a near-death experience story, the shows that he was binge watching at the time, how Rwanda was the biggest surprise of his travels, where he'd go on vacation if money were no object. And Henrik talked about his favorite place on Earth. Remember, he's been to every country on the planet. Listen to this.
Maybe here in South Africa, I really enjoyed. There's so much to do and see. But one thing that's very important for me and an interest that's grown over the years is food. So I would say Italy maybe is another one. New Zealand. Let's really have awesome, really high quality food in New Zealand. So that's another place. France, they have so much to do and see, and also it's just excellent food everywhere, even in small villages and things. So that's another thing I really appreciate. I can't say that I really enjoy that many countries out in the world for food. Most countries in the world, I'm not very impressed with the food, and in many places I have a hard time because I have been food poisoned several times. But in some of the experiences scared me so much that I'm a little bit afraid of trying local cuisine, especially in restaurants I don't know beforehand. So going into a local restaurant is something I never do anymore. it must be something I've checked, or there must be a lot of people in line, or something that can make me convinced to do it.
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Find them online at TedcoRVSuppliesInc.com.
Didn't wait around to tell her I got the clothing off with no one else around. Something about the way I felt her. No one should have known. You might think I'm mad. Started with a chain reaction.
That band is called Pickwick from Seattle, the lone non-Vancouver band in this week's podcast. Great song for those guys called Turncoat. Really dug their last album, and I thought you might as well. Played you a band called Wild Dove, and their song is Baby Boy, and that's Devin from Echo, Nebraska, fronting that band. If you're like, why do I recognize that guy? We had a show all lined up with those guys for this past summer. Of course, COVID doing its best to bring us to our knees. We will obviously get something lined up again with those guys once we're able to. Love what Devin is doing with this project, again, called Wild Dove. All right, Todd's Trolls is coming up in just a bit. The stupid, mean, hurtful, the funny things that people say to what you post, what you see online. This week, Rob Zombie takes a hit. Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, and World Baseball Classic. Share that white-hot spotlight. Powered by our buddies at The Garage. Games and geekery in Maple Ridge. It's your place to play Warhammer, D&D, RPGs, slay trolls, and a bunch more. Great place. Find them online at garagegames.ca. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, fitness influencer Jessica Kiernan. That's brought to you by Joyce Heating Services, family owned and operated. They've been heating the Lower Mainland since 1960, air conditioning in the summer as well. This is, as mentioned off the top, this is Jessica's third time on the podcast. It seems every couple of years we have her on. You will absolutely love her vibe. She's super cool, super inspiring, one of the most engaging people that I follow on social media, always giving out lots of advice and posting lots of pictures, lots of videos. If you, like me, are trying your best to stay fit as you start to get into your sunset years. That's what that's called, right? At 40, 50 years old. You need some help. Maybe you need some advice, maybe some motivation. Check out Jess's Body Boost 30-day fitness challenge at her website, and good luck. The full conversation is definitely worth hearing. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Again, on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Till you hear the full conversation, here's 10 minutes with fitness trainer and model influencer Jessica Kiernan.
The Toddcast Podcast.
And what advice would you give to somebody that struggles?
Like in what area? With weight loss?
Just in everything, like, you know, weight loss and like just the motivation to actually find the hour to you know, work out, or just kind of general, you know, advice.
I think it's just getting on track with it. I think you have to get to a level with yourself where you're really just sick and tired of being sick and tired or not doing anything and being frustrated. I think that you just have to get up and do it. And it's something that's going to kind of like just hit you.
Yeah.
And once you get on track, once you start, that's really the beginning. So it's just a matter of it actually happening, that one step, just putting on the shoes or putting your workout clothes or just taking that walk and just starting to like reconnect with yourself. So I think once you get that first step into the, you know, your new routine or doing what you're doing, or baby steps, you know, it could be starting to drink, you know, a gallon of water a day, or getting your water up, or, you know, making your meals, or just being a little healthier here and there. The little things you do add up. So once you start making one little plan and set it in place and continue that, then it's just continuing it, right? It's just being consistent.
Yeah.
So
when I talk to people like you, like, you know, fitness influencers, the one thing that they always kind of bring up is the motivation of, like, you know, what do you do? Like, what do you do on days where you just don't feel like working out? And that's, I think what you're saying is just fucking take the step. You need to take that first step to make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not always all motivated either. We're humans. I mean, we're just like, well, I'm just like you or anybody else who, I mean, there's definitely 4 days in a row where I won't go, or I don't make my meals, or maybe I slack a little too much. It definitely happens. And I definitely, you know, I feel the same way. So I think I've just been so consistent for so many years, and that's just my world. That's my life. And it is my therapy. So there is a little bit more there for me, but I can get right back on, you know, or right now I'm struggling with like trying to lose maybe 5-10 pounds that I gained. Okay. I know in my head, it's coming off. It's gonna, like, I'm doing everything I need to do, but I'm not seeing the results 100%. Most people would get really discouraged and stop. Whereas the difference is, for me, I already know the steps it takes. I already know the patience I have to have. I already know I have to stay like on board and just on track and just do it every day. Even if I think it's not working, I know it is. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing for everyone else as well. It's just, I just think for me, the difference is I've been doing it for so long, you know.
You know what to expect. Like, most people are like, well, fuck, I just worked out for like 5 days in a row and I gained 2 pounds. I didn't lose pounds. Like,
and they're not really gaining.
Right.
They're just gaining, like, you know, water weight and
whatever. And
yeah,
you mentioned like a gallon of water a day. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, why is water so important for health and fitness?
It flushes out all the toxins. It definitely helps release like body fat. So it helps you actually get leaner. Even there's like water tricks to do, like when we were doing our competitions, you know, water was such an important part of the process. You have to stay hydrated. You have to keep your muscles hydrated. It's everything. So it keeps you energized, you know, it can fill you up, but it is really healthy for your body. And it actually does help lower your body fat. It's kind of interesting.
They always say it, right? They always say, we're like, yep. I'll drink more water. No, you won't. No, but you should. You should drink more water. Yeah.
And I always have my little tricks for water. I always put like lemon in it, or lemon juice, or you know, like
something, or
just
like
something,
or something like that. You know, like something just to kind of taste it up a bit.
Totally.
You clearly love the gig, right? You love doing what you do. Have you ever had a shit job? Like, what's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, my whole life I grew up on the beach, so we're, you know, it's a small beach town.
Yeah.
It's usually just populated in the summertime. So you've got a few months to work. I was always in the restaurant business. I've done everything you could possibly imagine. I've been a bartender, server, all of it. I've had hotel jobs where I was, front desk. I've been an executive assistant for fashion companies and fashion designers when I lived in New York. So I did a lot of high-end fashion work as well. That's actually what I started out wanting to do early in life. And then I switched to the fitness as like the main thing for a while. So yeah.
Right. What are you binging on right now?
My TV. Like it's on. I've been watching True Blood. So I'm hooked. So
what's his name again? The main character, Kim Coates?
Bill. I think his name is Bill.
It's such a good character, right?
He's awesome.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. What's your favorite app on your phone?
My favorite app on my phone? Probably, I don't know. I feel like it's just like a filter probably.
Yeah.
Anything that can like fix all this.
Nice. Are you a gambler? Like you ever go to Vegas and just fucking throw down?
No, definitely not a gambler, but I have gambled and I have fun when I do it.
Yeah.
And once I learn like whatever game that I'm gambling with or whatever, I do actually have fun with it, but I won't just go gamble. And I have people that ask me that all the time. I'm like, no, I'm good. I want to go. But the rest of I do have fun once I do it.
I think it's just tough to lose your money, like, oh man, I was $200. I could have had a decent meal. Could have night out with buddies with that, Are you a big sports person? Like which is your team? Which is your sport?
I don't really have a team or a sport. I do love watching football. I do like watching hockey. Basketball, I went to a few basketball games in the past. I went to a football game. The Eagles were my team because I'm from New Jersey. So it's always like Phillies. So I grew up always liking the Phillies, but I don't know. I'm not really like obsessed with it though.
Did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see the halftime show? And there was a big buzz about, it might have been the best Super Bowl show of all time. It's like,
I kind of skipped out on the halftime. I usually love the halftimes.
Yeah.
Oh, if you see in the background, that's my neighbor's dog.
Oh yeah. I see it. Yeah.
That's Ollie. He wants to come in with his little ears.
But it's a big thing.
But actually, I missed the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, see, this year's halftime was the first time that a Canadian, not true, a Canadian fully was the headliner. Shania Twain's been on before, but yeah, there was talk that it might have been the best one.
Yeah. Oh, see, I missed it. I was like talking to everybody. I was at a party, so I just skipped out on that, and I started hanging out with everybody.
There's an actual football game going on here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who's your celebrity crush?
That's a tough one. Actually, it's not. Superman. What's his name? Henry Cavill. I don't even know how to say his last name correctly.
Yeah, I think
I have a huge crush. I'm hoping he's not gay, so I can eventually
you get a gay vibe out of him.
I don't know. I get the vibe sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he never has a girlfriend. First of all, if you never have a girl and you're not, come on.
Yeah, but
we never see him on the red carpet with anybody.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be weird though? Like, wouldn't that be weird to be uber famous and like, does that mean you need to date people that are also uber famous? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, do you like me for me, or do you like me because I'm Superman?
I think that's the tough one. But I would say, like, I'd rather date someone that wasn't, here's the hard thing. If you date someone that's in your bracket or doing like in Hollywood, or let's say I'm a trainer, it does make it a little bit easier because you have someone that understands your work ethic and what you're doing. Right. And also what it takes and what it entails to succeed and to do what you got to do. And a lot of people that aren't in your field get intimidated by that. So there's a lot of intimidation there as well. And that can really mess up relationships. So I don't know. I think if you're attracted to someone, try it, obviously. I wouldn't say no to either one, but I could see how it's a little bit easier if you date someone within what you do. Yeah. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, totally. And not only that, but these actors, actresses, when they're doing shows, they're not really a good boyfriend or girlfriend. They're never around.
No, never around. No.
Like imagine being with somebody that like, oh, I'm fucking off to wherever for 3 months.
Yeah. And you really have to have someone that understands, even in my industry, like I remember like when you and I first started doing our podcast, I was in a long-term relationship, and that person really struggled with what I do. Like even hated me being in a bathing suit and taking a photo, or hating me making content around the house, or having to always be on top of things. This is when I feel like I was more like at the heightened point of my, like the social media, I guess I should say. Yeah. So I really did have to like have a lot of content. I really had to like think about all this stuff and do all this stuff and plan it out and map it out. And it's a lot for just someone that wants nothing to do with it and doesn't want your body out there. Like, let's say like a guy, or dealing with the flirtations and stuff like that. So that's another thing that makes it really tough.
Right. You're like, dude, that's my gig. Like, that's my job.
Yeah. But then it's also too, you know, I put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, okay, is whatever I can do to make that person feel secure and confident. And if there's anything, you know, I'm like, whatever their needs, whatever you need to see, do, whatever. I always was trying to be very respectful of that too, because, you know, if you love the person, you don't want them to be,
right.
You don't want anybody like thinking anything, you know.
Sporting guest visits of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Joyce Heating Services, a family-owned and operated heating business serving the Lower Mainland since 1960. Online at joyceheating.com. Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
A look at this week's keyboard warriors, Todd's Trolls, on the Toddcast podcast.
Is it me, or are you finding it's getting even worse online? Most people are more than willing to chirp off about anything and everything. Some do it specifically for that, just to mess with people, get a rise out of them. No one and nothing is safe, not even the master Rob Zombie. He has his new album coming out this Friday, March 12th. It's called The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy. That's a tongue twister.
Oh, good. More middle-of-the-road rock. Maybe you should call this album Bland 2.0. Gotta admit, his movies are pretty good, but his music sucks. No offense, of course. Amazing. This guy has essentially released one song for his entire career because it all sounds the same.
If you're still going to theaters to see movies, personally, I'm a ways off that. As of this past weekend, Eddie Murphy's finally made a sequel to Coming to America with Coming to America. This time around, the newly crowned king of Zamunda sets off to travel the world, starting off in Queens, New York, where it originally started. Arsenio Hall is back to reprise his role. Wesley Snipes and Tracy Morgan are in this sequel.
Jesus, they'll make a sequel about pretty much anything, won't they? Just watch the trailer. Lost 3 minutes of my life. Eddie, no, don't make a comeback. Let's be honest, you got lucky the first time around.
And the World Baseball Classic starts up as of today, March 9th. It runs through the 23rd around the globe in Japan, Taiwan, and the US.
Watching baseball on TV? It's about as exciting as watching paint dry. No, thank you. I would rather do algebra all night. New drinking game. Every time a team gets an out, drink. Seriously, it's the only way to make it bearable to watch.
Todd's Trolls on the Toddcast podcast is powered by The Garage, Games and Geekery, your place to play RPGs, board games, and Warhammer in Maple Ridge. Online at garagegames.ca.
For a glass of whiskey with some ice to cool me down. Get us out a bottle of poison and hope that I don't drown. Nothing but trouble with the Redwoods boys. Crazy motherfuckers that just love to make noise. Diamond turn up any time of day. If y'all can't take it, then get out of our way. I got trouble on my mind. Sick and tired of your 9 to 5. Let's burn it down tonight, 'cause we ain't stopping till it's light. Nothing but trouble on my mind. It's time to get down to business. Roll one up real tight. We're marking territory wherever we go tonight. Nothing but trouble with the Redwoods boys. Crazy motherfuckers that just love to make noise. Diamond turn up any time of day. If y'all can't take it, then get out of our way. I got trouble on my mind. Sick and tired of your 9 to 5. Let's burn it down tonight, 'cause we ain't stopping till it's light. Nothing but trouble on my mind.
riff rock, a little yow. The band is Redwoods, and a great song for them called Nothing But Trouble. It's a bit of an older track for those guys, but certainly one of my favorites from them. You shouldn't be surprised to hear that we had a show lined up with them before the pandemic canceled everything. They've played a couple shows for us in the past. Really good band. When things open back up and you hear about them playing, make sure to be there. I played you a band called Crankshaft, and a great song for those guys as well called Tears Me Apart. They're actually getting ready to release a new song. I think it's called Innocence. Pretty sure it is. Check out their social media platforms and you'll see them teasing the song. They have also played a few shows over the years for the podcast. Killer live band. Cannot wait till everything is back to, quote unquote normal, and we'll get the boys back on stage again. Speaking of live music, you can find Pandemic Distanced, because there are some, and live stream shows at the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. Honestly, there's really not much happening. Mostly it's singer-songwriter sets at bars and the like. But if you're playing one or if you're going to one, let me know about it. We'll post it at the website. It's brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios, 40 plus years experience in the music industry. Hopefully they can get back up on their feet pretty quick as well. Find out more through mysticrhythms.ca. Okay, our final guests of this episode 241 is VANCOLOUR podcast host Mo Amir. This week's entertainment guest brought to you by Tomes. Let them help relieve stress and anxiety. Ensure a good night's sleep. The first 7 nights are 100% free at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com. Now, being a podcast host, you can imagine that I am well aware of other podcasts in the city in Vancouver. And one of the jewels locally is the This Is VANCOLOUR podcast with Mo Amir. Mo's done a fantastic job of building a following, a loyal following, and creating compelling content. He's engaged on social media. You can hear him on the radio at CKNW. He's a columnist for Vancouver is Awesome. He's just one of those guys that you look up to. Lots of drive, determination, initiative. You can hear the full talk right now. It's posted at our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube accounts. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Till then, here's 10 minutes with This Is VANCOLOUR podcast host, Mo Amir.
The Toddcast Podcast.
Have you always been into politics, even like as a grade 6, grade 7, grade 8?
Like, I think so. Yeah. I've always had some interest in it. And again, you don't know that much when you're in elementary school, but the more I get into it, the more I know I don't know anything. But I also have an appreciation for how it works and what I like and the trends that I see. And, I think we're all political animals to some degree. The problem is that we're so disengaged with politics. And I think that's the fault of the politicians. I think for a long time, we've had this very well-crafted, slick politician that comes out, promises you the world, and then you as Joe Average doesn't see any changes. And I think people are kind of tired of that. And what they want is someone with a little texture, someone who's a little rough around the edges, because that's life, that's normal. And they want someone who will deliver on what they say. And so I look at a guy like Brad West, who is the mayor of Port Coquitlam. He recently just launched this program where the city of Port Coquitlam will pick up your junk. It's a fridge, it's a couch, whatever. Just throw it out on garbage day and they will pick it up. And the people of Port Coquitlam lost their minds in terms of how much they love this.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's not out there trying to change the world, or he's not using these big concept things. He's like, okay, what's going to help people of Port Coquitlam? And he does that. Another big thing that he did, I'm a big fan of his. Another big thing that he did was drinking in parks. So there's 7 designated parks in Poco where you can drink alcohol as an adult. And as long as you're not being disruptive, it's all good.
Right.
And kind of one of the first jurisdictions to do that. I mean, it's so common sense. It's gone off without a hitch.
As it should be.
And people love him for it, right? Because he's thinking in terms of people, not in terms of these high concept things, which might only affect certain industries or certain sectors of life.
Yeah. I think I saw, it wasn't on the Daily Hive, that they're thinking of putting in booze into 7-Elevens and stuff. It's yeah, of course they should be. That should always be there.
When you go traveling and you see most of the world.
So we're going to catch up to the rest of the world. That's amazing. Right?
And it's little stuff like that that matters. And again, it might not be the most substantial stuff, but it's stuff like that that gets you on board with a personality and goes like, oh, this guy understands my life. This guy understands
he gets me. Yeah. Is Canada ready for Aaron O'Toole?
I had really high expectations for him, and he's letting me down. And I'm not a conservative. I lean center, but I'm kind of one of those disenfranchised guys with Justin Trudeau. I think with O'Toole, if he came in, talked about government corruption, China, talked to sort of the working man, I think that would have been a successful strategy. He's getting really caught up in this Trumpian culture war stuff. And I don't know how well that resonates with people. Like, I don't know if people care about John A. McDonald statues being pulled down and becoming this huge talking point. You know, people are going about their lives and they're trying to make ends meet. And they see things happening. I mean, you look at money laundering or foreign buyers of Vancouver real estate, they look at those things and those are things that are concerning them. It's housing, it's healthcare. And so I think every politician has to speak to those instead of getting trapped in this like Twitter-like insult fest that Aaron O'Toole has found himself in.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? And it very much resembles Trump. And like, I don't know, man, I'm so like, I was tapping at the end of the 4 years. I was tapping, man. Like, fuck, I'm done, dude. Amazing.
And you know what? Some of it, I think, it's a balance, right? Like, you want to be a straight shooter, but you don't want to go over the top. We don't want to get into the pro wrestling promo territory, but we do want people that talk straight with us and don't bullshit us. Right. So you can be that character and you can maybe insult people here and there, but when it gets over the top, when it's just all about dunking on the other guy, I think there's a lot of people that just kind of get bored with it, right? Mm-hmm. And at some point, even people who love it are going to say, okay, well, what have you done for me in the past?
Right. Except for make me laugh.
Yeah.
You mentioned Horgan, a huge guest. Who are some of your guests that you've interviewed where they've either like surprised you or just kind of, I don't know, memorable interviews? Like, who are some of the people where you're like, man, I can't believe that was a great interview, or I can't believe I got that person on?
Yeah. Weirdly, like it's weird to say now, but like I'm friends with Tamara Taggart, and she's been on 3 times now. And it was really the second time that she was on. The first time she was running for office, but the second time she was on, I think we really clicked. Right. And she even got a little emotional on the show, and we just got really personal and dug into some stuff about her career and how she views the culture and the industry in general. So that one she will always be a friend of mine, and those episodes will always be very dear to my heart. Some people will surprise you. I recently had a guest on, Dr. Amanda Watson, a professor at SFU, and her topic or her subject area is working moms. And so you would think about me, what do I know about working moms? Not much. I'm a single guy. And
some of them are hot.
I'm dating a mom right now, by the way. That's my girlfriend, so I shouldn't say I don't know anything about.
I'm fucking around, of course. But yeah,
I shouldn't say I don't know anything about working moms. Yeah. But we had this amazing chat, and she like turned me onto this idea of how childcare is the biggest thing we could possibly do as a society and how it affects all these other layers of society. And I always saw childcare as like a cost savings thing for parents, as opposed to like this monumental economic investment we can do. And we did this episode. It was so magic, but I knew she was a little low profile. So I threw it out to a few people, and I threw it out to a few contacts that I know. And I go, hey, listen to the first 15 minutes. If you don't like it, turn it off. But if you do like it, can you help me push it? And weirdly enough, it came across the premier's desk, and he's pushing it on Twitter, and he's saying everyone should listen to this.
Wow.
So there've been moments like that, which, you don't expect much, and it ends up being magic. A lot of episodes too, and they're not all, heavy. I've had one of your previous colleagues, Karis Hogg, on, and I think great chat about
she's so awesome,
everything.
Man.
She's amazing. Yeah, one of my faves for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just about connecting with someone on a human level, and my strategy is always, what are they passionate about, what am I passionate about, and just trying to get that link. And once you get that link, I mean, 2 people can have quite a interesting conversation.
Oh yeah, you can really get into the rabbit hole if you kind of really pick up a topic and run with it.
Yeah. And it's a two-way street, right? Like you got to be passionate about it, and of course they've got to be passionate about it.
Right.
If you're asking them questions that they don't really care about, it's going to be a dud. And even if you yourself are trying to fake it, I think it doesn't come off the same way.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Right on. So do you think that you'll stay in radio too, or?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm kind of like you. I would love, my goal, I think, is to get like a weekend show.
Right.
And do that. But I understand that it's much different than the podcast, right? So I don't actually know. I just like being a voice in the city. Right now with CKNW, I'm just doing a weekly commentary for them. And, so I like calling out bullshit. I like annoying people who are rich and powerful. And
who doesn't like that, right?
They deserve it. They
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the game plan is, but I think just taking it step by step. And I've always said for the podcast, as long as I'm still enjoying doing it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
There comes a day where it's starting to feel like, because this was a passion project, and it is a passion project.
Yep.
So if there ever comes a day where I'm just kind of bored with it, I got a day job. I do well for myself. I can walk away.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Like, for me, obviously it's my passion, but like it wasn't a passion project. It was like, holy fuck, I can't believe I just got let go.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? Really? Dude, I was crushing in the ratings, man. It wasn't that at all. It was just make too much money, bro.
It's
like,
sad.
Well, yeah, but I also was like headhunted and you guys bumped my wages up as it's happening.
Yeah.
So like you could have just let me go, right?
Anyway, when I look at, there's so much talent in this city that's either underemployed or just not employed by the big stations, and it really it depresses me because I'm just like, if you're not on the radio, then how would I ever be on the radio? Or just knowing that it's a tough gig, right? And the people that are in it, they have to fight and scrap. And I think sometimes, since I'm an outsider and I've come in this unconventional way, I've always just wanted to collaborate with people and chat with people and figure out ways that we can build something new, as opposed to looking at a finite pie and me taking something away. I want to build something on top of something. Mm-hmm. And I think initially there was maybe a little bit of hesitation from people in mainstream outlets, thinking that I'm coming after them or whatever.
Right.
But I think as time went by, you get a little more acceptance. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, it's tough. I mean, Karis was let go recently as well, and I'm just like, holy shit! She was fantastic.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like kind of the perfect. And I look at you the same way, like kind of that perfect rock radio host that you want, and it's like, well, it's right there. Why aren't they on the radio?
Entertainment guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Tomes, where quality sleep matters. Find out more at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that song. And a very cool video as well for the band Collision Course. A new song for the podcast, a new song for them. It's called Crawl, a solid follow-up to their last single called Run. And I'm really looking forward to COVID taking a hike so we can see these guys live, because you get the feeling that they're going to absolutely kill it in the live setting, right? Of course, I wanted to give a big thanks to all of this week's guests before we wrap things up. The Pretty Reckless singer, Taylor Momsen. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us. You are the best. The new album absolutely rules. Fitness influencer, Jessica Kiernan. Jess, was so good to see you and catch up and keep, of course, kicking ass. You're one of our favorites. And this is VANCOLOUR podcast host, Amir. Mo, thank you so much, man, for the backslaps. First off, you're killing it. Loving what you're up to. Looking forward to tossing back a couple beers one day sooner than later. And that is going to do it for episode 241. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening all the way to the very end as well. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. We're also on the Dean Blundell Network out of Toronto at deanblundell.com. Please comment and rate the podcast. It helps out with the searching, again, through Toddcast podcast. Huge thanks to all of our amazing sponsors. We couldn't do it without their support, especially over the last year and the pandemic. Absolutely incredible, crazy times. Find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info at the homepage. If you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission based on the ad buy. So keep that in mind. If you know a business that gets the outside of the box advertising, lots of social media love, let them know about us and maybe you'll get some scratch for it. Till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Talmor, Sheshin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my two wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. The one thing I constantly hear successful people say, without fail, is that they wish they'd spent more time with their kids. That's time no one can get back. So I decided to create Business Dad, to engage in the conversation about how we're spending our time now, providing a forum for successful dads to share their joys and challenges of being a working parent. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier. And while this podcast will talk about business and will definitely be featuring dads, I think everyone can learn something from these incredible conversations as we unpack the expectations we all have about careers, relationships, and ourselves. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.